Welcome to Life Mastery for Women. I'm your host, Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. I've been studying mind mastery and emotional management and energy work and its connection to spirituality for over 25 years. And in this podcast, I help guide you out of your daily struggles in life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. Life is hard, but your daily growth doesn't have to be. Join me 3 times a week as I lead you inward on a healing, connecting, and creating journey. Let's go get that nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you releasing the pain. If you're not releasing the pain, then it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. Now, I've had a couple of clients that I've worked with in the past, and sometimes for these particular clients I'm talking about, I worked very, very short periods of time with them. I did one little coaching session, or I had a conversation with them in our booth or something like that. And it was really interesting because I remember this one particular lady coming up to me, and this was in a very small coaching or a very small booth expo that we did in Grand Rapids. Very small. I think there was 22 vendors. And she comes over to my booth and she's telling me this whole litany of things that are basically wrong in her life. All the physical things that are going on, all the pain, all the medication, all the surgeries, all the stiffness in her joints, everything, all the diagnoses, if that's a word, or diagnosis, however you say that. And you think that if I was going to be a podcast artist that I should learn how to talk. Diagnosis? Anyhow. And then she was going on about all the things in her environment that were terrible. Her car broke down, her husband left her, her dog needs surgery, her house is a mess, she doesn't have any finances. It just went on and on. And I said, hey, you know what? Let's talk about something here. Let's talk about, a meditation practice. And immediately she says, I already tried that. And it didn't work. And I said, okay, so how long did you try this for? Well, I tried it a couple of different times and I just couldn't get my mind to focus. Okay. Yeah, I totally understand that. When you immediately start something, you should be great at it. And if you do try something and you're not immediately great at it, then you should obviously quit. I mean, this is the natural flow of getting better at things, right? I couldn't even believe that it came out of her mouth. But I will tell you this, I hear it over and over and over again. And then I say, in my mind, why don't you try again? Because do you know you're here at the spiritual mind-body event? You're led here for a reason. And that reason is because intuitively, everything in you knows. You start going inward to start working with the energy that's inside your body. You are going to heal every aspect. You start working on that introspection, going inward, looking at the energy, looking at your chakras, releasing the energy, changing your thoughts, changing your mind, changing what you physically do on this planet. And your life will begin to change. It's going to begin to change. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. But here's the thing. You're a beginner. You have led a distracted life full of negative self-talk, negative beliefs that lead to negative emotions. When those emotions are so embedded in your system, over and over and over again, for years and years and years, you've lived with anger, frustration, overwhelm, resentment, loneliness, grief, depression, anxiety. It starts to create physical pain in the body. We like to say age is the reason why we have pain in our body. And I'm telling you right now, that is absolute bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. The reason why, as we're looking at the older generation, like senior citizens, all the pain that their physical body is in is simply not because of age. Not because of how many years they've been on the planet. What it is how many years have they been thinking those thoughts? How many years in a row? How many days? How much momentum do they have in thinking those stinking thoughts that create the negative emotion that stops the life force energy in our bodies, that then we can't have the flow of life that is bringing us balance and harmony and peace, that it creates this pressure. And I have said a million times, the hose analogy, kinking your own hose you are creating the pressure in your own body. How do we get out of this? We have to be willing. We have to be willing to practice meditation more than once. I remember I just ran into a guy at the freaking gas station. I'm getting a couple of snacks. Amy and I were going to see a movie, went and saw Ant-Man 3. It's okay. It's not my favorite. Matter of fact, I think it's the lowest on the list. But you know what? If you're a Marvel fan, go see it because you have to, because it's a part of all of the rest of the movies in the order, right? I mean, it's good for that sense and kind of creates the storyline. But anyway, if you're not a Marvel fan, don't bother going to see it. It's not my favorite movie. That's my 2 cents worth. So I'm at the gas station. I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, hey, brother, what's up going on? Blah, blah. And so I go and I get my snacks and whatever. And I make some comment about how it's pretty quiet there. And he says that, I said, hey, you need to have a cot behind the counter there. And you can, take a nap between customers because there's nobody anywhere. And he's like, oh, I have trouble with insomnia and I've had it my whole entire life. And I said, and he goes, yeah, I've just recently got on like sleeping pills and it really helps, but it really knocks me out. Like I totally don't hear anything. I'm like, yeah, that's safe. Anyway. And I said, you ever tried meditation? Oh yeah, I tried meditation one time and man, I just couldn't get my brain to stop talking. Right? Yeah. Did you try it again? No, not after that. How long ago was that? I was like 2 years. How long you been dealing with insomnia? Like my whole life. Okay. Have a good night. Talk to you later, right? So here's the thing. When there is success on the other side of something, it's the other side of the fence, other side of the road, other side of the world, but success is there. Success in health, success in your relationships, success in your career, your finances, success in your spiritual connection, success in your physical body, your emotional body. Why the hell would you not go? I asked Amy the other day, I said, listen, I'm going to ask clients this, and I want you to answer honestly. And I asked Amy this in the car. This was a couple months ago. And I said, if you were promised all of success was over there, like we live in northern Michigan, and it was in Southern California, and you could get whatever it was that was there in Southern California, and it would lead to a completely 100% successful life. Health, career, money, finances, your environment, your physical health, your emotional health, everything. Success all the way around, whatever you think success is. But it's all the way across the country. And the only way you could get there is by walking. But you could take as long as you needed to get there. But you just had to walk there, one step at a time. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's like 3,000 miles or something to Southern California from northern Michigan. And I said, would you go? And I said, and what would be the questions you would ask? And immediately she says, if she believes in the thing, would I put forth this effort to walk there, I'd have to believe wholeheartedly that the success was actually there, that I was actually going to get the results. And I said, and what was the other thing? And she said that I would believe in myself that I'd be able to make it. And I said, okay, fair enough. And I said, you know what? I said, success is on the other side of meditation. It is on the other side of meditation, and it's just like a 3,000-mile walk, with the exception of you don't get to burn through your shoes and you don't get blisters. Why the hell not try it? I just can't even believe the people that give up so quickly about not quieting their mind. We live in a world that is filled and designed to get our attention. And there are hundreds of thousands of people, companies, businesses out there that are trying to get our attention. So much so that we allow them to do it. So much so that our attention has gone from like 30 some seconds, or it was like 3 minutes, to like 30 seconds, to like freaking 3 seconds. Our attention, the span in which we can keep our attention and focus on one thing, is about 3 freaking seconds. What's it going to be when your kids get to be 30, 40, and 50 years old? 0.0. So here's my suggestion. The first thing is to be willing. If you are not willing, you are not going to achieve. Plain and simple. Being willing allows your faculties, your mental faculties, which are concentration, focus, attention, perspective, perception, those mental faculties to open. When they're open, you can receive new information. You can receive new tools, new ideas, new perspective. And then you go, oh yeah, I never thought of that. And right in that moment, right in that aha moment, you become empowered and you become different. You're a different person. Now, you may not go with the new choice. You may not go. If I say you have to be willing to open these things up, you can release this pain. I teach you this stuff. I said energy is stuck in the body. And when it's stuck in the body, it's like kinking a hose. The water's still turned on and you're creating pressure right between the water and where the kink is in the hose. You're creating pressure. That's like creating pressure in the body. Where do you feel it? That's where the hose is kinked. Are you feeling it in your back, your neck, your shoulders, your elbow, your ankles, your knees, your hips? That's where the hose is kinked. So life force energy comes up through earth and comes down through source, and wherever it can't get through, that's where it stops. And that's where it is building this pressure in your body. So I say, let's go. You have to be willing. When you are willing, it opens up the faculties. It opens up your perception to go, okay, there might be another way. There might be another way for me to do this. And I say, yes, there's another way for you to do this. It's called going inward and clearing out the pain. If I clear out the pain and I go inward, there's a whole universe tucked away inside your body, inside your mind. And you're like, but wait, Jen, I'm really distracted. Well, yes, of course you're distracted. We live in a distracted society. I cannot scroll for 2 minutes solid on Facebook and not literally be distracted 100 times. A pop-up, a dancing cat, a singing little girl in a tutu that just went to ballet class and she swears in it, and a guy who's diving with sharks, and two dancing guys that are, in downtown New York. I mean, I'm just constantly distracted, right? So you have to overcome that. You have to overcome that. If you are going to walk from northern Michigan to southern California, what are you going to have to overcome? Probably a lot of physical and environmental adversity. My knees hurt, my ankles hurt, my shoes are wore out, I've got blisters on my feet, right? And then it's raining, it's snowing, it's windy, it's hot, okay? Meditation isn't that hard. But I tell you, if I knew and trusted that all of my successes, everything that I imagined for what I define success as, is in Southern California, and the only way I can get there is by walking, and I can take as long as I want to get there. I could literally walk straight and die on the porch when I get there, or it could take me a year to get there. I just cannot drive or ride a bike or rollerblades or anything. I literally have to walk. I literally have to use my feet to get there. Meditation's a lot easier than that. But I tell you, if my success is over there, you better believe I'm leaving today. I'm packing my backpack with water and granola bars, and I am on my way tonight. And it's 22 degrees here. Because I have that much faith in my success, and I have that much faith in the universe providing to us. I look around, and Mother Earth provides to us every day. There's water, fresh air, there's beautiful scenery, there's vegetables growing out of the ground. It's all over. Happiness, health, success, opportunities, money, relationships, it's right in front of you. But if you're not willing to look at it, you will not see it. You have to open it up. So the first is to be willing, okay? You have to be willing to just look around you. Then the next is to become aware. Become aware of what is going on deep inside your body, the energy. Amy's been meditating every single day, sometimes more, depends on what's going on. And I've been meditating at least 3 times a day. Sometimes I'll run a couple, 2, 3 early in the morning, and then I'll do one in the mid-afternoon just to get regrounded. Like I've been working on this 5-day event that's coming up and our 90-day program that's coming up. And I've been like doing the slides and doing all the behind the scenes, and it is 1,000% overwhelming to me. It makes me jump around. Like I have such a hard time. I can't see what I'm doing. Like it's very confusing, and I move at like lightning speed, and it gets very overwhelming. And then, so I've been stopping in between transitions, like between working on the computer stuff and then doing my podcast recording, that I'm like, I have to stop and get grounded and get connected before I start connecting with you. And it brings me back to center immediately. Now that took some work and it took some effort, but I'm telling you this, the better I got at it, the more results I saw, the faster, bigger results. First, it was like, oh, my mood is really good, or oh, I'm less reactive, or oh, wow, this was a great interaction I had with Cameron, or this stranger, or my boss, or this coworker. And then it started showing up differently in my life. Like the environment started changing. Like the things in my life started happening. Money started flowing. A list of fantastic, wonderful clients that I've been working with lately are starting to show up in my life. Like these great interactions and these great relationships. And then I find a $20 bill on the mall floor. Or I all of a sudden, I go into drive-through to get coffee and the guy in front of me pays for my coffee. So things out in my environment start shifting. And I'm like, shit, yeah, like, let's go, right? Like this stuff is amazing. So by this becoming aware, you are taking your awareness as one of your mental faculties, taking your awareness and you're going inward. And you're just thinking, feeling into the energy of your body. Amy and I did a pretty powerful meditation yesterday afternoon. And it was all about just kind of getting heart-centered and focusing on the energy of the body, this life force energy. And I can immediately get there. Like it takes me just seconds to connect intuitively. It takes me just seconds to connect and feel this energy. And it feels like circuitry. Like I can feel the buzzing of this energy that is moving through my bloodstream is what it feels like. And so I was asking Amy, so I'm sitting on one couch and she's sitting on the other, and I'm in this meditative state, but at the same time, I'm kind of walking her through a little bit, making a couple of comments. I'm like, okay, bring your awareness to your heart center and, breathe in and just kind of feel, bring your awareness there. And I'm like, can you feel the energy in your heart? And she says, no. And I said, do you feel anything? She goes, I feel that my heart is open. She goes, I don't know. That's just the word. I have to explain it. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But that's the word. This is Amy. That's the word I have to say to describe it. And then she says, and I can feel I can sense like my heart beating. I said, perfect. I said, could you do that before? And she goes, no. She goes, you'd have me focus on my heart and I just couldn't see or sense anything. And she and Cameron have been meditating every single morning together. And it's been this amazing thing. And Cameron's in kind of the same boat where Amy was several months ago, is he doesn't see or sense anything. But I'm like, keep going, keep paying attention, keep your focus there, and keep washing away the thoughts that bump in and interrupt your flow of thought. So being aware is allowing you to open that internal, I want to say like that internal communication. Because in that space, you're going to get a sense of where you're stuck. You're going to start getting messages and guidance of what needs to change, where you need to focus, how you need to unblock. And then after that, it's about being open and just really allowing the flow of energy to move through you to release any pain. So I talked about this in the intuition podcast, and it is when you're feeling the pain in your body, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain, is take this as a chance to be like, you know what? I'm going to paint today. This is an example. I'm going to paint today. And now that I'm all mad or I'm frustrated or I'm feeling depressed, is I'm going to go in and I'm going to see what it looks like, and then I'm going to paint it. It puts you in a different perspective. You are assessing what's going on in your life. And you're like, I'm going to get out my journal. I have a giant, it's a shoebox full of colored pencils that I've had forever. And I get out my journal, and this is a sketch pad journal. So it's a 5x7, but it's not lined paper. It's all drawing paper inside. And it's specifically a journal. But anyway, so I use this as my meditative journal when I'm looking at energy. And so I go in and I see the stuck energy, and I'm like, oh man, it looks like a spike ball that's yellow, and it's got like this tarry crap around that's floating around on the inside. Well, then when I'm done, I now go into that journal and I draw a picture of that. While I'm doing that, I am getting all this information of what it is. And then I go through the process of releasing it. And guess what? I feel better. Because isn't that what life is about? Whatever obstacles and problems and limitations you are putting on yourself, all you want is to feel better. But here's the trick. Here's the rub. Is that you're the one who's putting those beliefs, those blocks, and those limitations on yourself. It sucks, doesn't it? But here's the best part. It is not the environment. It's not your husband. It's not your kids. It's not your neighbors. It's not your mother-in-law. It's you. And I know it's like sometimes I feel like that's bad news. I remember getting that news. I remember hearing that and reading all about that. And I'm going, screw you, man. It's totally not me. But then I'm thinking, you know what? If it is me, that means I'm in control. That means I can change it. That means I'm empowered. That means, frack yeah, let's go. That's what that means. You are empowered. You just have to let it go. You just have to, and when I say let it go, I mean let go of the forcing, the kinking, the pressure that you are putting on yourself to make shit happen. Unkink the hose, relax, and go inward. And you've done it once, do it again. Do it again and again and again, and go 7 years in a row. Never stop. Never give up. You cannot undo 35 or 50 or 72 years of limitations that you have put on yourself. You cannot undo all of that in one 10-minute meditation practice. And you know what? The first 12 meditations you do, you may not get a single result. You might not feel anything, sense anything, do anything, notice anything. And then that 13th time, you're like, oh, I think I can hear my heartbeat. Or oh, I can feel something in there. Or I asked my body what receiving mode felt like, and my heart opened, and I felt this magnetism. And I could like feel my whole body relax for the very first time. But if you don't do it enough, you're never going to experience it. You're never going to experience what it feels like to be in the flow. You're never going to know what it feels like to be in the space that where you just are, you let the hose down. You're not holding it anymore. You're not gripping it with white knuckles. You relax. And now the flow of energy can move so freely through you. And what does that allow you to do? To feel better. Because when you feel better, your bucket fills up. And when your bucket is filled, you can share more of yourself with others. And when you share more of yourself with others, you begin to change the world. When my bucket is empty, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to do anything. And if it is like bone dry, watch out. Because I am in a bad mood and you do not want to be anywhere near me. Because now it's all about me going inward and doing what I can to refill my bucket through self-care and self-love. And once it's filled, I feel better. It's kind of like a person who's starving. And it could just be the hangry starving or literally starving. You don't have room for anyone else. You have to get your belly full. When your belly's full and you've eaten all the pizza or all the chicken that you can, and you're like, yeah, here, have a piece. But in the meantime, before I'm full, I ain't sharing with anybody, right? Do not take a cookie out of my mouth. I swear to God. But this is about when you are satiated, now you can share with others. You're better, you're easier, you're more fun, you're more relaxed, you're more kind. And you're just like, okay, now I can like share more of myself. That's why we release the pain. Because in pain, we can't have deeper connections. In pain, we are in a place of lack. In pain, we are in a place of, I'm never going to be healed. When healing is all around you. It's available for you anytime you want. But it's not outside of you. It's not in the medicine bottle. It's not even at the doctor's office. It is in your sanctuary, in your sacred place, in your house or outside or in your car. And it is tucked away deep inside. Keep going. Keep going inward. Keep quieting the mind. And keep recognizing when you are getting distracted that you just go, hey, I'm distracted. And I'm going to bring my mind back to attention. Look at that. I did it. You're going to start waking up to the power that's tucked away. And I know you can do it. And listen, I'm going to say this on every podcast because I have a really powerful group coaching program that's coming up March 21st is actually when we start. And you do have to apply for it. You're going to get in a certain way. I have a 5-day event that's starting at the end of this, next Monday, which is February 27th, starts at 6 p.m. Go to our Chakras for Beginners group. or go to Facebook, friend me, look for Jen Mack, JENMAC, and send me a friend request, send me a message, hey, I'm interested in your 5-day challenge, or not 5-day, your 5-day chakra healing event, or go to Facebook or go to our Chakras for Beginners group and say, hey, I'm interested in this 5-day chakra event. Send me the stuff. It's a free 5-day event. It is teaching you the tools and getting you through this process that I'm talking about. Now, of course, I'm not talking about the whole process of the 5-day event. There's lots of pieces, but this is about you unkinking the hose and releasing the pain. There's a lot more elements to it. I'm giving far more away than my coach is comfortable with. She is so I want to say she's so unhappy, but she's like, you are giving way too much away. But I think it's important for people to get results from my events. And then from there, there's a group coaching program that is a paid event where we just take that a whole lot deeper. So if you have experienced me through a podcast and you just aren't getting the results that you want, join me. Reach out, find out what the price is, find out what we're doing, when it starts, and join me. The worst going to happen is you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I totally want to do it, but I can't do it for whatever reason. Then you just keep going and eventually you will be able to join me. That's my goal. And I'm sticking to it. Is that it? I'm sticking to it. So I hope this found you well. And I hope that you will be willing, be open, and just allow life force energy to move through you. I'll see you on the next episode. If you enjoyed this show, please consider making a small donation. This helps me to continue creating powerful episodes for you each week, but also you become a bigger part of changing the world by changing yourself one episode at a time. By investing in my show, you are investing in yourself, your life, and your planet. And by elevating yourself, you are elevating others around you. And I thank you.